Representative Eskamani in debate.
Thanks so much, Madam Speaker, and thank you so much, members. One of my favorite poets, Nahir Waheed, writes, "You broke the ocean, have to be here, only to meet nothing that wants you." Now, I am the daughter of immigrants who came to this country from Iran in search of the American dream. I remember my mother's citizenship ceremony, and I've had the honor to attend many citizenship ceremonies of my friends and of loved ones. And it is such a remarkable moment to watch our fellow Americans take a pledge and be able to have the same rights and opportunities everyone in here has. And unfortunately, there has been a constant conflation in this country between different immigrant experiences. And actually, just this week in Texas, we saw the governor of Texas make a comment about victims of gun violence that was not only harmful, to be kind in my language, but also inaccurate, because he referred to individuals as not having status when actually many do. And so I want to first stress that for those here who have concerns with the Biden administration's immigration policies, I share in those concerns. In fact, if you ask any immigrant rights attorney, they will tell you they're disappointed in the Biden administration just like anyone else. And that's because they've actually maintained Title 42. They pursued very strict policies on immigration, much more strict for some compared to our Ukrainian immigrants who have sought refuge in this country. And the problem has not been solved by Congress to the point where sometimes I feel like those in power want the problem to continue because it's harder to send a fundraising email when there isn't a problem. And I feel like politicians almost have an incentive to allow the problem to get worse because they benefit from it financially with their campaign accounts. They benefit from creating fear and disinformation and spreading as many lies as possible compared to the reality that for so many people who leave their country and journey here, they're doing it in very difficult circumstances that were actually caused by U.S. foreign policy over the decades. Now, this legislation does not solve the nation's immigration crisis, but instead it causes a humanitarian disaster here in Florida. And I'm going to highlight just a few parts of the bill that I find to be incredibly problematic. One, the collection of hospital data. Yikes, members. You're not even going to collect data because those who don't have status will not seek medical care anymore, period. So it's not even going to be a good data tool. It's an intimidation tactic. Banning dreamers from entering the Florida bar. Where did this idea come from? Members, this was bipartisan when it passed, and if you think there are immigrant families who are in another country thinking to themselves, oh, I really want to practice law in Florida, let me go through this ridiculous, difficult process and come to Florida, go to undergrad, go to law school, and then pass the Florida bar. If you think that incentivizes them to come to this country, you are wrong. You are dead wrong. And so that's just in the bill for the sake of being cruel. And again, the travel restrictions. You already heard the examples of kids in our schools who come from undocumented parents who just want to be a kid like everyone else. This is the body that says, let kids be kids. Oh, but not if you're undocumented. You can't be a kid if you're undocumented. It doesn't make any sense. This legislation is anti-faith, anti-family, anti-health, and anti-safety. Florida is a diverse state. Y'all know this. In 2018, 4.5 million immigrants comprised 21% of our population. That breaks down into top countries of origins being Cuba, Haiti, Colombia, Mexico, and Jamaica, among so many more. In Florida, we should be welcoming the tired, the poor, the huddled masses yearning to breathe free. To quote the musical Hamilton, immigrants, we get the job done. Please don't demonize immigrants, support us and our families, and vote no on this bill. Thank you, Madam Speaker.